a while with the Mi'kmaq community within Halifax on a number of issues. And I want that to continue. I think that the statue is obviously an impediment to that progress. So I think it has to be resolved. Whether that means taking it down, or whether it means adding another statue, or whether it means taking it off the pedestal. There may be opportunities that an expert panel that we've asked to be constituted, can come up with some ideas. And if not, it comes back to us to make a political decision.
What's the timeline on that committee, though? I mean, they've given you till October, which is Aboriginal History Month.
So we hope that by early in September, we'll have a composition of a committee that has to be approved by council. And that's why I said I can't commit to the statute or decision being made by the end of October, because I think there are a lot of people, learned people and people with strong feelings are going to have to weigh in on it. So I don't want to say something that isn't true. So by early September, I hope we'll have a committee that people would look at and say, okay, let's see what they can come up with. And at the end of the day, you know what, maybe there'll be something that we can all agree on as council. We have to make that final decision. Or maybe we have to make a decision if the committee can't come up with a single recommendation. So I accept the political responsibility for that.
The city did tarp the statue today as an act of goodwill. Is that tarp going to stay on?
No, the agreement was that the tarp would be on for the demonstration. I don't think we're going to take it down, right after the demonstration. So let's be very honest. I had a call yesterday morning saying that a number of people wanted to make sure, and I'm not suggesting that the organizers wanted to have a violent demonstration, but there was concern based on some posts and some social media and other reaction that this could turn out not to be what the organizers wanted and not what we wanted. And so there was an alternative suggestion made, and that was that they would drape the statue under certain conditions. What I didn't want was people climbing up on top of the statue, falling off and getting hurt, or doing something else that would be dangerous either to themselves or to the monument in the short term. So when they asked if there was help that the city could provide, I said yes. Some people may not like that. I understand that. We didn't need council direction on it. In my view, it was about safety and peace and allowing people to make their positions known without anybody getting hurt.
So it's just staying up for the day, is that right?
I don't think there's a specific time. We said we'd leave it up for the ceremony. I don't know that there's a rush to take it down, but it will come down.
Who's taking it down?
I expect it'll be the same people that put it up. Halifax staff.
How has this changed your views, if at all, in regards to the statue issue?
It hasn't changed my views. My views on the statue have always been that it's an issue that we have to figure out an answer to. I can tell you, this morning I had a cup of tea with Elder Isabel, who spoke here this afternoon, and with Regional Chief Morley. And I think if everybody could have a cup of tea with Elder Isabel, I think it would go a long way. Because I do believe that part of the truth and reconciliation process, not just for residential schools, but across the board, comes from better understanding of each other and opening our hearts. And she's very impressive.
So would you personally like to see this statue come down?
I haven't said that. What I have said is I want to resolve the situation. I don't think the status quo is good. There may be some options that I'm prepared to look at that would say if people can come to terms with the statue not coming down, maybe actually coming off the pedestal, for example, but being beside the statue of, a Mi'kmaq leader, a Membertou, or somebody like that. If that's an option, that would be fine. Other people in the Mi'kmaq community told me they want it left up in some cases because they don't want to have an unpeaceful response to this, but others feel that they want the message of Cornwallis to be, from a negative point of view, clearly, to be identified by people in the community. There are other folks, and we will be speaking with other folks who have a very different point of view, and that's where an open heart comes in. And I think both sides have to be prepared to listen to each other and see, can we find a way to make this a good thing going forward.
Does this change anything? Well, you already had the expert advisory committee process underway.
Right.
Has today actually changed anything? Has it sped anything up?
Well, I think it's shown that there's a lot of resolve in the community for a solution. From my point of view, we've been pushing to have this report, the composition, come back as quickly as possible. And so this may help certainly in that. I think anytime you have a number of people come together, it gets a message that this is an issue that needs to be dealt with. I would say this.
And consistently during the year.
I think that's important as well.
What about the stuff that was discussed in the legislature back in 2015?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I sent it to you on Twitter, actually, and I mentioned it to you when we were at Parade Square the other day.
I have
Steve
to-
McNeil had actually been speaking with Alan McMaster.
Yeah, I've been talking to the.
They were going to work, they pledged to work with you to get the statue removed. That was back in 2015.
I think that the Premier.
December 11th, actually.
Yeah, I think the Premier understands the situation we're in and is supportive of the direction that we've taken. There was a question you asked. I'm going to try and answer.
I just wanted to be clear if anything changed for the city on its actions. Like, did today change anything for what the city does?
I would say this, that the issue of the what I would call the clear mistreatment of our First Nations people across Canada, including the Mi'kmaq and Nova Scotia, has gone on for hundreds of years. This statue's been here for almost 9 decades. Less than 3 months ago, our council took the step of saying, let's try to figure this out. I'm proud of it.
And so what's the earliest, like when's the earliest that the statue could be removed? So the committee will be formed by September,
11th,
correct?
2015.
And then they'll discuss it, and then how early will they have a recommendation?
I don't know that. We don't want to, we're going to, we have a process and we've asked them to come back in 2 stages to come up with a composition. That's not as easy as people might think.
But that's
and it's very possible, and we're hoping that that'll be the first meeting in September.
And then how long will it take after that?
Then it'll be up to the committee.
And there is no committee even starting. You told me that the other day at Parade Square,
Correct.
right?
There's work done on the committee, but the committee has not been identified.
Sorry, so when will the committee have a recommendation?
Pardon me?
When will the committee?
Well, that'll be up to the committee. I'm not going to form a committee and then tell them you have to have an answer in a certain period of time. So when we talked yesterday about can this be done by Mi'kmaq History Month, I can't commit to that. What I can commit is we'll do our very best. But, it's a committee. At that point, it's out of council's hands. And that's what we want, is we want a community group to come together, learned voices, obviously a Mi'kmaq voice. And I think that's important.
When do you expect to know the members of the committee?
We hope that it'll be on the first meeting in September.
Oh, so we won't know who's on the committee till then?
Correct.
Mayor Savage, how come we've known it as a people that this is wrong for so many years, that my father taught it to me in school, and yet it's just now that we're putting a veil over
December
it?
2015, they said that there was some work done.
Yep.
Which is what she's trying to ask me.
And you're
So in
avoiding the question.
2016,
When did you know that it was wrong?
but,
When did you know it
I'm
was
not going to answer the question in a confrontational way. We're trying to go forward in truth and reconciliation. What I'm saying is that in 2016, last year, a motion came to council to set up a similar kind of a thing, similar kind of a committee. I voted for that then. It lost by 1 vote. In April, it won only 1 dissenting vote. I think we've come a long way.
But what about 2015?
I can't speak for what the Premier said in
But
2015.
they pledged to work with you. He pledged to work with you. Okay, I sent you that right on Twitter.
That's fine. We'll
The document's right in the legislature.
yeah, well, we're happy to take this
December
advice.
11th, 2015.
I've had a number of conversations with Premier McNeil on this issue and other issues for the Mi'kmaq.
Right? You've had many, you told me the other day that you didn't actually know that he was working towards removing it, or that he wanted
I think what he was asking for was for us to take a process.
I have the screenshot here of his
Okay,
words.
well, we can have a talk about it.
I can read it to you.
No, it's fine.
No, I didn't.
Anybody else?
The progress council's been making on this issue. Do you want to address the statements David Hensby's made, both on
What's that?
Do you have any response to the statement David Hensby made both on Aboriginal Day and then earlier this week when he said hotheads on the warpath? But a lot of people took.
Well, as I said on the radio yesterday, I don't think that's helpful. And we all speak for ourselves, but I think we also have to recognize that we represent the city as a whole. And so I spoke to David about that and indicated to me I didn't think that that was a helpful comment, and I think others did as well. And he apologized, so I thank him for that.
How did you vote on the first time this issue came up in council?
In support. He was defeated by a vote. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes.
I think you're amazing. You know that. You know me. But there was an issue with one license plate. The license plate that said grab her. One woman, only one woman was offended, made one complaint, and that man's rights were revoked. And he was not allowed to take his own name. Why is it one woman gets immediate satisfaction from something she's offended from, and yet a whole people in the nation that has been for decades trying to resolve this issue has still been working on it? Why is that step so slow for them, but this one woman got immediate satisfaction?
Okay,
I can't speak to that. That's obviously a provincial issue, but this is why we're here today, and this is why we're having the conversations and the action that we're taking. It's why we're working with the Mi'kmaq Friendship Center. It's why Halifax Water is taking a position with the APC, with the regional chiefs on trying to be helpful in a regional water board. Carl Yates has done some really good work on that. It's why council wants to move on TRC recommendations. I would like to have a statue and testament to the residential school survivors and the victims That's the recommendation of the TRC. I think recommendation number 82. I think there's a lot of things that we can do. We can do it together.
I believe you will do it because you're that kind of mayor. But if you could help with the provincial process and ask that question, why this is being stretched out for decades and why one woman got immediate satisfaction over a legitimate legal license.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Renee. Thank you.
Like, is there any legal technicality stopping council from taking the statute down?
No, I don't think so.
It would just be a vote.
So. No, but let's be clear that there are a number of people who very strongly do not want the statute down, right? And if we're going to have a process that brings the statute down in a way that it stays down and serves a positive purpose, there needs to be some conversation. But council has already indicated a lot of us were. We've got a lot more mail saying leave the statue up than take it down. But we voted strongly to have this process. And at the end of the day, I said the other day that over a decade ago, most people in my constituency, when I was a member of parliament, did not want civil marriage for gays and lesbians, for the LGBTQ community. Now it's not even an issue. I think you move forward on things like this, but I think you have to respect both sides.
What do you think of Stephen Adams' position of leaving it there and then adding some other statutes of some other groups?
Yeah, I think those are all possibilities. At the end of the day, we have to make a political decision. So, as I said a little earlier, that may be one of the things that the panel would have a look at. You know, we could have a peace and reconciliation statue. We could have a peace and reconciliation park. But I think it starts with us saying that this is not an issue that's going away. This is not an issue that can be solved just by leaving it as it is. And I know a lot of people feel very strongly about that statute. And I know that I have to be a leader in having that conversation with people about why we need to look at what we can do with that statute.
When people write you in support of the statute, though, what do they say? Why are they supporting it?
There's a whole bunch of different things that we get letters on. Some people recently have said it's a great place for the birds to drop on. So that's hardly a reason to keep a statue. But some people, there's mixed views on the history of Cornwallis. There are some people that feel it's against our military to take that statue down. I don't think that. We're a community that honors and supports our military, our veterans, our serving members. I thought Admiral Newton's response to the protest here on Canada Day was very good and very strong. And so I think our military would not be offended if we were to find a resolution of this situation.
What's your personal view on the history of Edward Cornwallis and what he did?
Well, you know, my personal view is this. I learned about Edward Cornwallis in grade 6 from a little blue history book that everybody else had. And that history was not complete. It has to be a complete history. Thank you all. Thank you.